Well, this concludes the challenge of driving from Santiago, Chile to Buenos Aires with using nothing but gold, silver, and Bitcoin. It was incredibly interesting. I'm not going to go into the details on that too much. You can look at the Rebel Capitalist channel for that, where we did that with George. It was a lot of fun, but because it was so much fun, we're actually going to do another one in September. We're going to drive from Turkey, Istanbul, Turkey, to someplace. September 15th, there's a Formula One, an F1 race in some random country that I've never heard of. That's supposedly pretty fancy and expensive, but some little small, little rinky dink country where the F1 will be taking place. So we're going to drive from Istanbul, do the same type of ordeal, maybe add some additional variables to it, mainly because we just want to travel the world, see every nook and cranny. Because if you travel, let's say you go to, like right now, we're at a five-star resort in Buenos Aires, which is just a spectacular hotel. Spectacular. If you go to a place like this, anywhere in the world, it's going to be Americanized. But when you go outside of the cities and get to the urban centers, it's kind of like if a foreigner travels to LA or New York or one of these inner cities and then says they've seen all of America. Okay, well, maybe, but you haven't seen Sedona, Arizona, or the outskirts of any of these areas that are not necessarily the biggest foreigner tourist destinations, but from a niceness and peacefulness and the people perspective, it's actually much, much nicer. And you don't really experience, let's say, America by going to New York. That's not a good representation of America. That's what we do when we go to other countries. We go to Buenos Aires and we stay in the Four Seasons and then say we've been and saw Buenos Aires. But it's wildly different than if you were traveling the country, especially by car. It's really a unique feeling. So instead of saying we're going to Istanbul, Turkey, we're going to go to all of Turkey and we're going to go to all of those surrounding countries. And I think we're going to do it with Brent Johnson, and like Shane's going to come back, and George. And it's going to be a fantastic time. So I'm excited for that. I'm more excited to get back to work, honestly, because a trip like this makes you think, I got to make more money, right? If I could be making 30 grand a month profit per month, you could do this all the time. And it's wonderful. I mean, I wouldn't want to do this all the time, but I would have the ability to. So after this, I think I'm going to be going to a YPO event with Kenny, which is somewhere in Florida, some old random town, Destin, Florida, but like some super nice place on the beach where, you know, mega rich people stay. Of course, where a YPO is, I think you have to be making like $10 million per year, have a few hundred employees to join. So the guys in there have making $10+ million per year, and you know that alone probably says enough about you. So it's Young Presidents Organization. Ken's a part of it. Todd Davis, the guy that I actually did interview. The only good video I've probably ever produced before is when I was talking to Todd Davis on the waste management, kind of touring it behind the scenes. I'm so lucky. I mean, I hate to say the things that I do in life because it doesn't seem real. Like it just seems like I am bragging when I just say what happened, which is such a crazy feeling because of how crazy my life is right now that I couldn't even have dreamed of how good it is. I just can do nothing but be so extraordinarily thankful. But Buenos Aires, it is incredible. It's kind of, we were just, after we got dinner, we went to this place that was basically New York. There was street dancers, street performers, or like there was an Elvis type person, a bunch of Broadway theaters. The rest of the city kind of is like European. It's old buildings, very. We got dinner with Doug Casey tonight and his wife said right now Buenos Aires is the most European city in the world. And after spending some time here, I happen to agree with that. And she means the ancient history of Europe. And I mean, Europe today is kind of just garbage. So I haven't traveled most of Europe, but Buenos Aires is amazing. It's really, really amazing. There was just a mosquito infestation that came here. So I think that is deterring quite a few people from being here right now. But it made the usual $600 hotel $400 a night. So I guess a win is a win. My plans have changed a little. I'm no longer driving back to Chile because I think George is going back to the wine country, so he's going to take the car, spend a few more days in the Mendoza winery country, and then so he's going to drive the car back to Chile, where I'm just going to fly out of here. But I don't know what my plan is. I haven't booked any flight yet. I'll probably leave Monday, just spend Sunday hanging out in Argentina. um, I don't know. I can really do whatever I want. I need to figure out some sort of plan. So I'll figure that out tomorrow. It's already pretty late at night, so I do want to get to bed. I don't know. I have nothing of value to say except I would suggest everyone tries to find a way to make more money so they can have these kinds of experiences, because it's one thing to watch somebody do some sort of travel vlog or whatever, to experience something on your TV versus actually being there in person. And Shane, he's a great example. He flew in from Canada to meet George and myself for this drive, and because of that, now he's George invited him to spend some time with us in Medellin and have a good time, and now he's going to go on the next trip with us in Turkey and all the future ones we potentially do because he took that kind of risk, because he just took a shot in the dark and George said, "Hey, if anyone wants to come, you can show up." This crazy son of a bitch, the people that I like to spend time with, decided to show up. And now we're all great friends. So, because of that, which George, he's not the type of guy to just invite anyone to go hang out with him in Colombia. But because Shane took that kind of risk and is now a really good friend of ours, he is going to be invited on more and more trips, which is what's going to expand his network a ridiculous amount. And I bet he ends up making a lot of money from it because hanging around with George is constant business and uh, just knowledge that and wisdom that just can't be taught in schools or anything because he's actually done it. So it'll actually probably have a very high payoff for the money spent on the trip, which was still just a great time. So anyway, sometimes you just have to take a risk and a leap of faith and not plan everything out to the micro detail. We didn't plan a single thing out. We just said we're going to go here and we'll figure it out once we get there. That's exactly what we did. That's how I like to travel. Just figure it out and just have enough confidence in yourself that you are able to figure it out. But anyway, guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.